So as I discussed with HOD sir, and it is now decided that you have to work among the NCDs, about the NCD, non-communicable disease. Perhaps now you have the idea about the different NCDs. So one of the important NCDs is hypertension. Okay. So perhaps you know what is hypertension. নতুন করে বলার কিছু দরকার নেই, no need to say. Now the topics is hypertension. Yesterday what I discussed, that first you have to select the topics. From the topics you have to formulate the problem. Can you understand? Yesterday what I told you, first selection of the topics. Once topics will be selected, then question comes about the formulation of the problems. So your formulation of the problems, I mean what will be your problem of study? Write down. The topics is hypertension, and the tentative title of the study will be Prevalence and Determinants of Hypertension. पूछा हो तो नहीं? Prevalence and determinants of hypertension among adult OPD attendees of Santiniketan Medical College and Hospital. So this is a tentative title. It may be changed. So here three things you have to know: hypertension, next is prevalence, and third one is determinants. Perhaps now we have the idea about the determinants of hypertension. Determinants of health, do you have any idea about the determinants of health? Perhaps it has been covered. It has been covered in your theory classes. Determinants of health. You can say what are the factors that influence health. These are the determinants. Say for example, heredity, environment, that is lifestyle, socioeconomic status, age, sex, occupations. So all are the determinants. Okay. So in nutshell we can say risk factors. In other words, you can say what are the risk factors. That means we have to find out the prevalence of hypertension among the OPD attendees. That means the persons who are attending the OPD, mainly the adult, because you know hypertension, the prevalence of hypertension is more among the adult populations. So you have to undertake all the adult OPD patients of Santiniketan Medical College. Two things. One is what are the prevalence, that means how many persons are suffering from hypertension, and next why they are suffering. Probable guess, what are the factors that influence hypertension. Okay. So objectives write down. Mainly there are three objectives. One is to estimate the prevalence of hypertension among adult OPD patients. Second one, to identify the determinants of hypertension. So these are the two main objectives, or rather we can say the primary objectives, and another one, that is secondary objective. Secondary objectives to find out the general factors, or we can say this general informations. So you have to collect three things. One is general informations from the OPD attendees. Usually their name, forget about the name, but you have to collect the name. This is not that much important. Their sex, their age, their occupations, okay. And then the other risk factors of hypertension, like physical activity, like BMI, okay, whether any family history of hypertension, diet pattern, addiction, okay. So mainly these are the factors, okay, that you have to collect. So this is your objectives. Two objectives mainly, including the general objective is the third one. Apart from this third one, that is the general information you have to collect. And apart from these, two important things that you have to collect, what are the prevalence? Number one, that is the objective. That means how many persons are suffering from different grades of hypertension. Okay. Usually we can classify these hypertensions as far as your study will be concerned. Number one is normal, next one is elevated, third one stage 1, fourth one is stage 2, okay. And according to physical activity, three categories are there, we can classify. Number one is sedentary. Do you have any idea about the sedentary? Moderate and heavy. Sedentary means the persons who usually do not do that much physical activity. Only খাচ্ছে দাচ্ছে ঘুমোচ্ছে, that is sedentary totally. Next is moderate, যাতায়াত করছে, হাঁটাহাঁটি করছে, অল্প বিস্তর কাজ করছে, that is called moderate. And third one is heavy. There are some criteria on the basis of that we can classify sedentary lifestyle, moderate lifestyle and heavy, okay. Then BMI, according to the BMI you can also classify them, okay. Normal BMI, overweight, then obese, according to obesity, obese. So on the basis of that, on the basis of this objective, what you have to do, you have to select the variables, then define these variables, then on the basis of these variables, you have to prepare your questionnaire. Once you prepare the questionnaire, you have to pretest it. That is theoretical, okay. Usually we do not do it in this sense, okay. We try to finalize it, then print it, then with this printed questionnaire we used to go to the OPD every day, 4 days or 5 days, 7 days. Now question comes, then collect data. Now question comes about the prevalence of hypertension, that you have to calculate on the basis of the statistics. But you see, practically in your case, as you are going to collect informations from the OPD attendees, okay, there is hardly any scope to apply the sampling. Usually universal sampling we call it, convenience. যে আসবে তাকেই নেব, okay. Whoever will come and whoever are adult. So we will interview all the adult OPD patients. তাদের হাইপারটেনশন থাকুক কি নাই থাকুক, ওকে, আমরা সেদেরকে সবাইকে ইন্টারভিউ আমরা করব। Okay, this is a nutshell. What to do? That means question comes about, first thing is you have to consult the literature. So that I did not tell you. Perhaps Dr. Ghoshal told review of the literature. Did he tell yesterday? No. Review of the literature. That means once you are going to work or going to conduct a study, how many studies have already been conducted? That you have to know. What about their findings? Because you see, in a scientific paper, usually you have to collect data, then analyze it, then writing the reports. But while analyzing the data, you have to compare the data with others in the same settings. Say for example, somebody had conducted this type of study, not at Bolpur, Santiniketan Medical College, but somewhere else in any medical college OPD. So you have to compare what they found, what you are finding, what your results, you have to compare. So in order to compare this, you have to consult previous studies. So you have to review the literature. Once you will write the introductions, that will also help you to write the introductions, and it will also help you to compare the studies. So write down this journal. The name of the journal is, you have to go and consult the journal, Indian Journal of Forensic and Community Medicine. Indian Journal of Forensic and Community Medicine. Website https://www.ij all small www.ijfcm.org. That is the one, and you can copy it. There are number of references you have to copy later on. Okay, you have to copy all these. Say for example 13 or 14 journals are there. Once a study was conducted, this study was conducted among the MBBS students. Okay, prevalence and determinants of hypertension in MBBS students of Government Medical College, Kanauj, Uttar Pradesh. So on the basis of that, we are discussing this. This type of study is a cross-sectional study. So perhaps you have the idea of the cross-sectional study. Is the one? Simply, it is a cross-sectional study. It will be cross-sectional. Cross-sectional means, you see, a one-time study. Barbar tumra jabe na. At one time you will go and collect information from the same respondents. Only one time you will go to the respondents, interview and collect information. That is cross-sectional study. Not, this is longitudinal study. It is cross-sectional study. Okay. So this is a nutshell about the study to be conducted and your topics, hypertensions, and the problem is prevalence and determinants of hypertension among the adult OPD attendees in Santiniketan Medical College and hospitals. That is your topics. So what you have to do? You have to consult the literatures. What are the factors that they have undertaken? Factors means variables. Okay. So what are the variables that they have undertaken? So on the basis of the variables, what you have to do? You have to prepare your questionnaire. And on the basis of the questionnaire, you prepare a questionnaire. Okay. Then come to us. We will try to finalize it. Then you have to print it. Then you have to go to the OPD and collect data. Once data collection will be completed, then again you have to come analyze it. So, that is all about that selection of the topics and formulation of the problems. Okay, thank you. Acha, kono question ache? Any questions? Any questions? So everybody has understood? প্রত্যেকে বুঝতে পেরেছো তোমাদের topics কি? What is the topics? Hypertension. And a specific title, tentative title ki? Prevalence and determinants of hypertension among the adult OPD attendees of Santiniketan Medical College and hospitals. Now question comes, how many number, how many persons we have to interview? Ritabon bole debe, but what I know, I may differ from him, but minimum 100 is essentials. Achha. Actually, কত 250? So you can undertake 250, no problem, because you see how many of you are here? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 12 জন তো এখানেই আছো। Okay, if you are 12 only, so in one day at least 5, so 5 into 12 means 60 per day. So if you collect data for 4 days, consecutive 4 days or 5 days, it's more than enough. Okay, what they have collected, that I can tell you, total n is equal to was 558. ওইভাবে ক্যালকুলেট করেছে মনে হয় প্রিভ্যালেন্স 500 ফর্মুলা দিয়ে 558, male was 305 and female was 253. And prevalence নিশ্চয়ই আমরা জানি, we know the general prevalence of hypertension among the adult populations. On the basis that we have to calculate the total number of n, how many sample size. But there is no scope of that much, but theoretically you have to know why you are taking this. Okay, as many as possible you should take. That is all. Any questions for clarification? কি করতে হবে বুঝতে পেরেছো? তার মানে মোটামুটি টপিক সিলেকশন হলো তোমাদের, তোমাদের অবজেক্টিভটা হলো that might be modified, objective may be modified, but main objectives are two. Number one, to find out the prevalence, and second one is to find out the determinants or these factors that influence risk factors that influence hypertension. Usually there are two types of risk factors, one is modifiable and other is non-modifiable. You can modify the risk factors. Some risk factors are there that you cannot modify. Number one, say for example, family history. Number two, age. Number two, sex. That you cannot modify. But what things you can modify? Definitely physical activity, lifestyle, food pattern, addictions. These are called modifiable risk factors. So this is not intervention study. Usually in future what you have to do, you have to think what type of intervention that will be required, because modifiable risk factors, that you can modify these risk factors. So with the help of the interventions, perhaps levels of intervention has already been finished. So in each level you can intervene. Here also, those who are pre-diabetic, that means pre-diabetic means primary preventions. Those who are diabetic, secondary preventions. Those who are high diabetic, so tertiary preventions. But here there is no that much scope for you to organize any intervention programs. Otherwise I would have suggested that yes, intervention is most important, and that is must. Because without interventions, what will happen? You cannot help the community, but you can enhance the knowledge also only.